Welcome to our lovely future humans, our 5D collective. To those who are new, so here's a question. If someone asks you, what are humans made of? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? And wait for it, I do personal growth and spiritual growth. So all my mindset practices, journal prompts, the guides, the content on Payip, it's for the purpose of growing yourself. Just so you understand where the question is coming from. It's not just any. Okay, so I say, what is a human made of? What are you going to tell me? Oh, and that's for my regulars. Answer the question. I can't hear you. There's there are wrong answers, but it's not that straightforward because we don't do the closed-minded stuff of the black and white thinking. Yeah, that's for emotionally immature people. Okay, so what are we made of? Well, it's called an embodied brain. I didn't know it either, but it's an amazing thing. So I'm not here to suffer. I'm here to live life, not suffer life. I'm also here to grow, not be an unsteady self with an unsteady self-image. I'm also here to enlighten myself and you. And I'm here to come together with the 5D collective who honors the man called Jesus Christ. And yes, we're rejected, the 5D collective of mystics and spiritual ones. We all know it, and we're moving into the 7th dimension. But it's okay because God's angels are all perfect. Well, the healthy kind, of course. As for the distorted, projecting followers of the ancient history, that's where we have a group we're going to have to ask one day, knock, knock, would you mind if we take the children that you say you love and you bore off the planet, because the sun is a star. So our scientists like Neil deGrasse, a famous, whenever it will be, Neil will be a famous man that we will have in our history books. Okay, so what are we made of? Yes, embodied brain. The moment you have nervous system sovereignty, the moment you have a steady self-image, you don't suffer life. And so whenever that will have began for you, you will have known how to do the 10-minute and beyond ventral pivot. I've been doing it since I can remember, and panic attacks, I still could do it. Okay, so that's where integration of the brain is that. The 5D collective, the clear channel is not because your ego dies, it's because you spot your own ego, because you discern your own strong emotions and your chit-chatter. And so you're able to put it over here, and then you're able to do all the other stuff. Oh, and nobody takes you over, because that's for another story. So when I explain to people that I don't suffer life, they say, but you have emotions, Maria. And I say, yes, that's called intensity and sensitivity, wielded by the embodied brain of a person who's in a restorative embodiment and who's self-aware, accountable, regulating, and doesn't actually have an issue with the flow state. Is pushing me to the edge of criticality. I'm just wondering where the push is. And that's where our emotionally intelligent and intelligent in general. So when you distort things, that's not intelligence. When you discern things, that is intelligence. Say it with me. Discernment. Okay, I'm going to have fun with you all. I know it. So when you're nervous system sovereign, then you know to spot the 3D, 4D who suffer life, who look at you weird, and the 4D particularly think they can come into your energy sphere, and you are like, ha ha ha, ha, what do you think you're going to get? Because it's not my brain that's thinking. And there you go, so it's no, I put a spell on you and now you're mine. No, I'm a 5D mystic here to mentor, guide, support, and that's all of those who do personal growth, and therefore you can put up with a little pseudoscience old lady and know, please respect the spiritual ones, meaning our stories. You don't have to believe in God, you don't even have to believe in us. However, as a person who supports personal growth, again, I know all about embodied brains because I am one of them. Okay, so we have a heart. And those core wounds, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, injustice, and humiliation. We don't do that to other people. And because we choose the high road, we have the being ourselves, the smart way, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, and we choose the high bar. And so let me read it to you if I still have my notes. Because we have a new free PDF and something else also coming, so that those of you who with honesty dissolve humiliation, with integration you heal injustice, with belonging you get to resolve betrayal, with alignment you get to stabilize the fall of abandonment, and with reflection you get to disarm rejection. There's our lovely inner growth collective. at IHP. It's always been you be you and I be myself. And because we have relational integrity, because we move beyond intuition, because we discern our own effective realism and charges, we don't distort shit, we discern shit. And we do the ventral vagal state pivot. And so you are able to, in one moment's time, not always, right? But as you get practiced, I know, like when I get activated, I know how many days it takes me to process certain emotions. So sadness is about connection, anger is about correction, and certainty, fear is about certainty, physical. Okay, so once you're practiced in that, there's no reason to go back to a survival mode because you've never really decided to stick to it though. And so the steady self-image is able to contain sensations, images, behaviors, affects, meanings. And these words mean something to you because personal growth and spiritual growth is about behavioral growth. So we don't do maladaptive patterns of behavior, and we don't talk about emotionally immature people as demons or devils or any kind of sob story that we need to continue to. Okay, so here's the deal. Enlightened ones will be back at IHP because the Enlightenment Soul Age Group is a real soul age group for this human being spiritual, but you don't have to use this soul age group. I'm just going to bring in restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people, enjoy grounding, connecting, not protecting, and anchoring in aliveness, because aliveness is badass. Pseudo-aliveness, well, let me tell you a story. When I see a woman putting grief on a pedestal who's in pseudo-aliveness, the knee-jerk reaction of this human being mystic who has 3 twin flames, might I add, who, yes, there's a whole bunch of shit that goes down, but there's one thing that you'll say by the time you figure it all out. I can tell you all about it. Thank you, God, for keeping me away from every single person. I would have been so ashamed of myself. You saved me from humiliation. I would have been so upset. So that's how you feel when you realize who was given a short end of the stick. Anyone who doesn't know how to love. And so a group of people who want to tell me that I'm a demon and a devil because they're doing God the right way, and one day I'm going to have to say, knock, knock, can I take the children that you say you love off the planet because it's going to be an excruciating, horrible physical death. Like, we're not joking. No, you think it's fake? Okay, you know what? Thank you so much. This is what civilization, expansion of consciousness is. So I don't think of people that want to talk to me about God and demons and monsters in that way as, oh, let me be afraid of you. We're not in the medieval times, which is why when I see people using our ancient ancestors' words, anointed, witch hunt, demons, energy vampires, I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm telling you all, that's why Maria sees the spiritual bypassing community and somatic bypassing, and God chimes in to remind me what my purpose is. You be you and I be me, and we're in good company. I have PayHip. You can go check it out if you want mindset practices, journal prompts to do it the right way because you know how to fish. So this is the part of when I teach people how to fish. It's, oh, hey, so listen, today we worked through what? Well, it depends what your goals are. So in my case, I just love to love more. And I love to live and laugh. And anytime I have to put up with people who look at me weird because I say I don't suffer life, I leave it alone. Is the reality is anytime I have the look, I'm like, okay, I know in my lifetime so far I've explained it to 2 people, physically speaking, because I'm attachment trauma educated. That's why I laughed. And both of them understood that I wasn't bullshitting them because they know me. And out of 2 of them, one was very respectful, and in time they're like, you know what, your explanation, I can see it actually having come forth, so I understand. The other got a little pissy in the pants. They're like, you think you're better than us? And I was like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just explaining to you how we work. And no, we're not a software or a hardware. We're an embodied brain. So I know the verbiage. That's all. You don't have to accept the explanation, and you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can continue doing what you do best. And that is where we left it at. So when someone doesn't believe that an embodied brain, human being, does not have to suffer life, you don't say it's true because science explains it. Neuroscientists talk about the flow state pushing us to the edge of criticality. It also explains how you go from selflessness to timelessness to effortlessness, which was when the body says, where the fuck's Maria? And I remember those moments. It's oh my God. It was pure fear, kind of. It was a lot of different light body, rainbow body. So like all of this stuff that you've heard about expanding with the mysticism, yes. Science explains it too, and the Fourth is, what was the word? So timeless, selfless, effortlessness, richness. So they know metastability and they know the blissed out state, the neuroscientists, so they live it. So scientifically speaking, you don't need no drugs to do any of the blissed out state. But that's because you've consistently pivoted to the ventral vagal state, and that's the part of where you can't actually bullshit your way to it. So I'm going to pause myself, which is why, as I like to share, not everyone has to move into becoming their empowered, enlightened version. In fact, Enlightenment Soul Age Group is only one of the many soul age groups, or at least 5 or 6. But humanly speaking, free will. So the ones who want to take ownership of their embodied brain have mindful therapists. Once they're done, that's for personal growth and spiritual growth, not for vanity metrics, but because, oh, okay, so I got triggered here, I got triggered there. Here's my effective realism. Here's my self. Oh, look, I'm picking up on people around me. I'm going to differentiate it and link, and I'm going to continue hanging out, and eventually you get really good with it because that's how it works. So, for example, for me, there are still things because of my panic attacks, because of IBS, which, by the way, good diet, which is where science knows what they're doing, while the ones who want us to starve to death, well, I'm just going to say it's not a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not black and white. But number one, it's, do you own yourself? So here's where it's, don't believe in just any random human being. I am a yellow source, I'm pretty sure, according to lovely Neil deGrasse's list of sources. He's a green because he's peer reviews and all that. I'm an in-between because I'm a mystic and spiritual, plus personal growth, spiritual growth. We use different types of frameworks, right? Okay, different tools, so that's the pseudoscience stuff. But, and here's the, anyone who is authentically being themselves is going to find value out of personal growth and spiritual growth. The ones who instead are just on the bandwagon because it's a trending topic or because it's something to do, you will spot them in different types of Reddit groups, not actually growing, but instead perpetuating that nervous system, which is trying to close out loops, but they're not closing them out. They like to be with other groups that have the same charges and up and at it with their survival mode, and they do themselves a disservice. So it's not us who need to change. We are expanding. They could change if they wanted to and get out of the suffering business and the unsteady self-image business, but they don't want to, and they don't believe in the science that I found out in the last 5 and growing years. So when I began IHP, it was already about being yourself. Now it's, yes, you're going to be yourself when you can wield your nervous system. You're going to be yourself when you're smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. You're going to be yourself when the high bar, honesty, can help you with humiliation, integration, injustice, again, belonging, betrayal, alignment, abandonment, reflection, rejection. What this means is you don't have a loop. You use the inner growth mindset and your somatic resource, your emotional regulation skills to know it's not personal when you're meeting emotionally immature people who suffer life. Their reactivity is rigidity or chaos. They distort, they project, and there you go. It ain't personal because it can't be. Because they're physically incapable of noticing their biological rudeness comes from their dysregulated state, which comes from their childhood, which comes from more than just that. And any of the answers, it's not ours to take care of, it's theirs to take note of. And you know, the saddest thing of all is that part about when you have a interaction, there's no apology coming. Don't expect people who maintain. I have a facade friend of mine, he still thinks I'm boring. I still think he's a clown. That's how it works. And so we work it out because there's no reason to cut cords, since emotionally mature people co-regulate with relational integrity. Everyone's subjective reality is true, which is why, hey, flat earthers, thanks for checking that corner. It'll be great to find out one day that the earth is round once we leave it. But hey, you keep doing you. So the emotional, mental, intelligent collective is any of those who are grounded in reality and understanding what an objective truth and reality is, which is why when we say let's respect different beliefs, those who have decided for various reasons, they've decided so. But when someone wants to tell me that they're still believing in demons and monsters and a good team and a bad team, I just know I'm playing with those who are Peter Pan, Lost Boys, and Wendy, and I don't need to participate, but I can listen and be that which is a good friend, and or a good family member, and or a good colleague, and or a good anything. And you know what? Because I can differentiate and link, I'm not afraid of somatic countertransferring or energy vampires and cutting cords. I don't need any of that. as that's the moment of truth where I will already know, thanks to my own practice, but also to attachment trauma education. And that's smart, brilliant, amazing human beings, that every little bit of frequency I'm picking up is going to give me intel on them, and I can support them. That's all. I don't need to change them, because they have a 3-year-old. Their 3-year-old is not, they don't care to meet themselves. They got a teenager in the room. They want to continue doing what they're doing best. They're going to have a fun time. So I get to give the 3-year-old some eyes. And the 16-year-old doesn't know any better, because they don't really care to know you anyways. That's the emotionally immature people. So it's because of the child of every person and that which they still have, because nobody is in the absence of the essence of themselves. The soul doesn't get tainted. The essence of you doesn't get tainted. No, it gets hidden, armored in, and that means it's still there. That light is still there. That heart is still there. So the people who want to reject, rejection is not protection. They just don't know how to differentiate, link, and then remember, we are all human. So stop shaming, blaming, faulting, revenging, because that doesn't actually heal those core wounds. It just continues to make a circle. Enlightened ones enlighten, true enlightened ones and teachers create leaders, not followers, and they don't put people against each other. That's actually quite unnecessary. And also, well, it's not in nature, not in human nature, because, nature knows how to continuously work with all of that which comes. And I know a couple of studies, which I'm not going to mention right now, but they have similar dynamics to what we face. And so, in the meantime, though, I will be going, as the bell called, be yourself, moving beyond that which is our own intuition, being able to understand leaders lead, followers, well, they project and distort, and at the end of the day, we all can continue to enjoy life, live it, and emotionally regulate, and those who suffer it, well, if they ever want to get out of that suffering, we'll be here to support them. And that's through that which is being good friends, good family, good colleagues, good all of that. And so we continue to grow personal, spiritual. Tune in again. Check out PayHip, check out Substack, and let others know. And have a good one.